Hello friends, and welcome back to Rachel's Baking Corner. Today we will be making Hokkaido milk bread, also known as Japanese milk bread. This is going to be a dinner roll form of bread that we'll be making today that's super soft and fluffy and springy and slightly sweet and just so divine. Think a nice, silky, glossy, caramelized crust with this just absolutely tender crumb that is spongy but also doughy in like a bread way. Oh, it's so good. I have made these twice before and I actually improved on the second time around, which is what typically happens with recipes. So I'm really hoping I just kill it today and show you this awesome bread recipe. The reason why this has a little bit more of a challenge to it is you need to use a milk starter, also known as Tangzhong. I am so sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I looked up the pronunciation. I blame Google and the fact that I don't speak that language. So what this is a milk-based roux that we cook together until it becomes like a little ball of gluten, basically, just for like 3 to 5 minutes. And then you add it to the rest of your ingredients and it just creates this really beautiful bread texture. So we are going to explore that together today. I'm going to talk ingredients, tools, which I know this is a little overwhelming, and then order of operations, and then we will get to baking. And then before you know it, we'll have these beautiful little bread rolls. Let's do it. All right, let's chat ingredients first. So as always, I will have the ingredient linked down below in the description, but this recipe comes from kingarthurbaking.com, my sole source for bread recipes a majority of the time. And this is the recipe I've used twice now. This can be in cups and tablespoons, or it can be in grams. I am a firm believer in grams. I even was measuring these things out the way it said with my scale, and I was still getting different measurements in grams than what it was saying. Just totally depends on your environment and your tools and things like that. So I trust grams, but obviously you don't have to do that. You can just follow the instructions. So first things first, I want to address the Tangzhong. That is going to be 3 tablespoons or 43 grams of water, and then 3 tablespoons or 43 grams of milk, so equal parts milk and water. Whole milk is preferred, says the recipe. And then 2 tablespoons or 14 grams of King Arthur unbleached bread flour, to be specific. This was the one where I measured 1 regular tablespoon and got 15 grams. So I was like, what? So that's why I like to measure. So 14 grams or 2 very carefully scooped tablespoons. When it comes to the bread itself, we need 2.5 cups or 300 grams of unbleached bread flour. This is a little bit of a different ingredient, but it's very vital, I suppose, is 2 tablespoons or 14 grams of non-fat dry milk powder. I've made this recipe multiple times, so I have quite a supply of this stuff, so I'm happy to be using some more of it. Then you need 1/4 of a cup or 50 grams of granulated sugar. And then I just tossed them both in here because I was running out of dishes and it doesn't matter. A teaspoon or 6 grams of salt. I used sea salt. And 1 tablespoon of instant yeast, which I did have to measure. That was about 1 packet plus a little extra of instant yeast. Then you'll need 1/2 cup of whole milk, once again, or 113 grams, and 4 tablespoons or 57 grams of butter, melted. This last little bit I have here is just a little bit of the whole milk to wash on top of the rolls before they go in the oven to get that signature glossy, caramely, light golden color. Now let's talk tools. There's a lot of stuff going on here and I get it, it looks a little crazy. Obviously you're gonna want your KitchenAid with your dough hook attachment if you're a mixer lover like myself. You certainly can mix this by hand. I wouldn't be against it at all. I'm just lazy and I like to use my KitchenAid. I have my induction stovetop here. Super mega not necessary at all. This is just for my convenience of filming, but you do need a stovetop to cook your Tangzhong. You will need, this is a necessity, an 8 to 9 inch round cake pan. You just want something with a little bit of walls for those rolls to poof upward, not outward, basically. And then again, a very optional thing, my kitchen scale. So what I like to do is I like to individually weigh my balls of dough for the rolls to have them be more uniform in shape and size. That's purely just me being very obsessive compulsive and wanting it to look pretty. You do not have to do that. When it comes to the order of operations, we are going to make our Tangzhong. We're gonna mix all of our ingredients to make our dough. We're gonna let that proof for an hour to an hour and 30 minutes, depending on your environment. We're gonna prep our little rolls and chop them up, and then we are going to let them proof again in their pan, bake, and then they'll be done. It's not a terribly hard recipe. It's actually, I've made it twice successfully, so it can't be that hard. So let's do this together. I'm so excited to get into it, and yeah, let's do it. I have a Roux reputation of starting to move my ingredients and realizing I forgot something. An egg. You need an egg. 1 egg, room temperature. So let's make this Roux / Tangzhong. What we're gonna do is we are going to mix our flour and our milk and water together until there's no clumps. I'm gonna get my little whisk. I'm gonna do that in this container so that it's not super difficult to whisk together in the pan. I'm gonna turn my induction cooktop to low heat, and we're going to whisk this constantly until thick and the whisk leaves lines on the bottom of the pan, about 3 to 5 minutes. Let's pour that in there. And we're just gonna whisk this together for about 3 to 5 minutes until it's nice and thick. So what I know in a general roux is the reason why you wanna cook it, A, is to evaporate that moisture to make it nice and thick, but it also cooks out that raw flour flavor as well. Now, if I remember correctly, this happens pretty quick. It goes from like, oh, it's starting to thicken up to like basically ready to go in a blink of an eye. Scoop that into my container here, and we're gonna let this come down to room temperature. So I have all my ingredients ready to go to make this bread dough. Really quick, what I want to do, I want to prep a bowl with a little bit of oil and get that ready on standby, because this is what we're gonna let our bread proof. Okay, so I just put a little bit of oil in the bowl. I take a paper towel and I just kind of sweep it around the sides so that it's oiled up, but not too oily that it affects the flavor of the bread. That's it. Let's add our flour. Jeez. Let's add our sugar. Gosh, I got it in my eye. Let's add our milk powder. Let's add our yeast and our salt. Let's add our milk. Let's add our melted butter that is cooled, it's not hot. Let's add our egg. And we'll add our Tangzhong. Lock this up and slowly start to mix. The ingredients alone kind of tell you what kind of bread this is going to be. It's milk-based, it's got egg, and it's got, how much, 1/4 cup of sugar in it. So it's going to be lightly sweet, it's going to be moist, and it's going to be decadent in the sense that, like, lusciously milky. I never thought I'd say that in my life. Lusciously milky, but it's great. Just trust me. I'm gonna turn it up a little more. And we're just gonna knead this for like 3 to 5 minutes to just get everything nice and elastic and combined to make a really pretty dough. It smells great. It smells buttery. The butter, oh, that too. The butter is gonna make it, oh, so good. So far it's a little sticky. We just got it started, but it's kind of coming off the walls now. And we're gonna just let this go for about 3 to 5 minutes in order to make that beautiful elastic ball of dough that we want. I'm gonna call that good. It's been about 5 minutes on like medium speed. I've got my flexible bowl scraper. Sorry. That looks good. Okay. And then I'm just gonna zhuzh this around and make sure it's not sticking or anything like that. Good. Got all over my thumb. Okay. Here is our little ball of dough. Looks small, but it'll poof up. It's got a nice elasticity to it. Probably could knead longer, I don't know. It doesn't say how long, so I'm just guessing. I was all specific about flour, but it seems really sticky and it's not as elastic. And I haven't really gotten my hands dirty in a while, so let's do it. That's why we grease it. Probably going to be better if I can get a feel for what it's doing than just guessing from the way it looks in my mixer, right? I don't want it to be too floury though, so once this flour soaks up, we're going to call that good. I'm going to call that good. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to call that good. Great. So now we're going to let this proof. This is going to proof for 60 to 90 minutes until it's puffy, but not exactly doubled in size. I don't know what that means. I'm just going to aim for 60 minutes and just hope for the best. So here we are at 1 hour later. It's poofed up quite well. Didn't say doubled in size, so I can't imagine we can underdo it, but don't want to overdo it. So let's work with it. Here we are. We have our ball of dough that has been proofing for 1 hour. We are going to prepare this for our pan. I have covered my electric kitchen scale with some saran wrap just to make for easy cleanup afterwards. I'm going to lay a little bit of flour down because I really don't know if I'm gonna need it. I don't know if it's gonna stick. We'll see. But so it says gently deflate the dough and divide it into 8 equal or 10 equal pieces. I'm gonna punch it down. I'm gonna plop it out just like that. And what I'm gonna do really quick is weigh this and see how much it weighs. 680 grams. I've got my bench scraper here and I'm just gonna cut a piece and weigh it. We're gonna aim for like 68 grams, I guess. It's 51. That's 63, 68. I'm going to push this all together, pinch it into a ball to where all the little pinch is at the bottom, and I'm going to roll it in my hand like this, up against, kind of using the friction up against the countertop to make a nice little ball. And then I've greased my pan, so that's going to go in my pan. And we start again. 68. Perfect. Flatten it out. Pinch all the sides together just till it makes a ball. roll it in your hand, kind of like a loose cup around it. And there you go. All right, I'm gonna just knock all this out. Here we are. We have 10 balls, 68 grams each. They're nice and spread out, but it's okay. They're probably gonna end up touching, and that's totally fine. So now I'm gonna cover these with some saran wrap and let these rest for another 40 to 50 minutes so that they get their second proof. They're gonna puff up and be beautiful, and then we'll bake them. Here are our bread rolls. They have puffed up, taken up some of that empty space, and they'll continue to rise as they bake. So here's our Hokkaido Japanese milk bread, our dough balls. I went ahead and did a nice little gloss of milk on top. I just used a basting brush. I went over them gently with the milk. You could use an egg wash with a little bit of water too if you'd like, but it's totally up to you. I wanted to just stick with the milk theme. And we're gonna throw these into our 350-degree oven, and they're gonna bake for 25 to 30 minutes until golden brown and delicious on top. You could also stab one with a thermometer, and it should come up to about 190 degrees inside Fahrenheit. Yay, let's do it! Ooh. Timer just went off. Oh, yes. Like, are you kidding me? Look at how beautiful they are! Nice and golden. Oh, I'm so excited. Our bread is done. It smells so good. It looks so good. Oh gosh, it's just, it's fantastic. These look so pretty every time. I love it. I'm feeling nervous about this. So let's try this. We are going to put the cooling rack on top, even though that's gonna dent them a little bit. It's just for a second. We're gonna flip this over. We're gonna take the pan off. And then we're going to flip that over. Ha! Yay! Yeah, I'm so excited. So they're still pretty hot, but I don't care. That's when I want to taste test it. I want to pull it apart and see all that steam, and I'm just so excited to try it. So the best way to do this is to just grab and gently pull, and it will come away from the other rolls. Beautiful, nice and steamy. Let me get close. Got our little bun. We got a nice beautiful crust on the bottom, even color. You can already see it kind of wants to just like come apart. Okay, let's break it open. Ready? The best thing about these is that you can go like this and it springs right back up. Probably would do better if I hadn't just ripped it open. Okay. It just smells heavenly, absolutely heavenly. Buttery, like milk, like milky, soft and sweet. It just tastes like a dream pastry. Let's taste it. It's so fluffy. The crumb is perfect. It's tender and chewy. Lightly sweet, but still savory. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I don't really have to tell you that a dinner roll is a classic and it's a hit. And this is next level. So good. So tender. So, just like you can taste the love and the time that you put into it. It's beautiful. Just doing that little extra step of weighing them out so you get about the same size for each of them. It's a score. It's a home run. I love it so much. I hope you enjoyed it like I did. It's not terribly hard compared to like a loaf of bread or the Dutch oven bread. It's pretty easy. So I loved making it. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Thank you so much for checking out my video. Please leave a like and comment down below what type of recipes you'd like me to try. Subscribe, and I'll see you really soon in my next video. Thank you. I love you. Mwah. Bye-bye.